Continuing from the previous episode 1895. CC. In the desolate alien space, in the ancient battlefield, the desolate and icy aura of death, accompanied by bursts of extremely sticky demonic energy and an extremely evil demonic energy, filled this place, which is called this place. It's not an exaggeration to be a true grave death zone. The ancient battlefield, this is a very special realm. It is a special zone opened up by the master of the demon realm and the demon emperor Tianhen with the power of reincarnation. Yes, even the 2 white kings and 1 black king among the king-level powerhouses sent by the evil army from outside the territory to conquer the demon world were completely suppressed by the demon emperor. Therefore, in the ancient battlefield, it is not only a place where many powerful people from the demon world meet today, but also a special area with 2 towns and demon areas. Demon suppression territory. This is something that exists to seal and suppress the real powerhouses among the evil races outside the territory. There are actually 2 of them in this battlefield. The appalling horror level is probably no less than the real Wangzia place. Among them, among the 2 demon suppression prisons, 1 demon suppression prison is sealed with 2 white-level alien kings and many evil people. There is also one. It is said that there is only a black king who seals the evil clan outside the territory. As for the division of the power of the king-level powerhouses among the foreign evil races, no monster can clearly know, but the 2 white kings, according to the guesses of many powerhouses, may not have stepped into the reincarnation, but the black king, but it must be a reincarnation-level powerhouse, because at the beginning, the demon emperor alone suppressed him here with his mysterious cultivation technique and demon world domineering weapon. Tear it up. Xiao Yan and the others slowly separated from the Wan Yaowing and others. Immediately, Xiao Yan took 1,000 elites behind him, as well as the half-step 8-star fighting fairy and 9 7-star fighting fairy generals. The strength of the lower powers is spread around the ranks of 1-star to 6-star fighting immortals, and together they entered the Tianyuan battlefield among the 10 battlefields. The Tianyuan battlefield is considered to be the last of the top 10 battlefields, but it is also a special area where countless treasures and dangers coexist. Now, in the top 10 battlefields, it is estimated that among the top-ranked battlefields, where are the 3 powerful monster armies standing, trying to compete against each other, and in their eyes, the 7 monster kings are just petty fights. The 3 will decide the outcome, and the 7 demon kings can only bow their heads and become ministers, while the other 9 battlefields have been divided up by the 7 demon kings at this time. The relic treasure left behind enriches itself, trying to gain the power to fight against the 3 powerhouses. In the Tianyuan battlefield, I don't know who deliberately leaked it, and it was vaguely revealed that the Heisha Dragon and Wolf Guards were defeated by the Tianshang Tyrant, fled from here, and tried to leave the ancient battlefield to restore their health. Once the news spread, it was targeted by the evil-eyed Demon King. At this time, the battlefield was filled with the army of the evil-eyed Demon King. At this time, in the Tianyuan battlefield, the evil-eyed Demon King has completely occupied. As for the army of the other Tianshang Tyrants and the White-Bone Demon King, they are slowly dormant in the first place among the 10 battlefields. It turned out to be united to try to annihilate the remaining Heisha Dragon and Wolf army in one fell swoop, and the Demon Kings under the command of the Heisha Dragon and Wolves, including the 10,000 Demon King, also gathered their strengths and went towards the battlefield of the resentful house. There, it will be the real highlight. At the same time, with the help of Wan Yaowang's extremely terrifying handwriting, Xiao Yan and the others slowly entered the Tianyuan battlefield. This is the only way out for their army, so Xiao Yan was dispatched to try to drive away the evil-eyed Demon King, so as to stay the last away back. Here, the terrifying aura is indeed the real battlefield of the demon world powerhouses and the evil races from outside the ancient times. Just after entering here through the space crack, Xiao Yan's soul power sensed it. Everyone stood in the sky. Xiao Yan followed his gaze and looked down. The dark cracks of countless evil powers emerged from below, and there were many bones and countless corpses everywhere. It seems that in this Tianyuan battlefield, whether it is a stone or a grain of sand, it has absorbed the blood essence of countless monsters and the evil aura of foreign evil races. To a certain extent, it is a great supplement for monsters. It's easy to expose the target by standing in the sky. Go down first and send someone to inquire about the army of the evil-eyed Demon King. At the same time, without my order, no one can use anything in this battlefield. including the corpses on the ground or the blood of fallen monsters. Remember, it's anything. After a while, he glanced around and found some dark shadows walking back and forth not far away. Xiao Yan's order was issued slowly, flooding in the hearts of the people. Yes, the 9 demon generals behind him nodded slowly. They were quite convinced of Xiao Yan's order, so they carried out the order for a while. Wang buzzing, just standing on the gloomy ground, strange auras filled the air, as if they were venting something. Immediately, 2 objects in Xiao Yan's body flashed with a rather bewitching luster. One is the fragment of the demon book that Xiao Yan obtained before, which recorded many treasures in the demon world. It seems that the body of the demon book stands here. The second is Xiao Yan's palm, the aura of the dark underworld. It seems that the dark underworld master also felt a rather fearful aura about this land, but the dark underworld master was more like a summoned creature. If Xiao Yan did not take the initiative to summon him, he would live quietly in the dark, which is the so-called in the underworld. Don't worry, I won't rely too much on your strength. I will walk the road here step by step, Xiao Yan said with a slight smile. Today's Xiao Yan has many means on his body, and with the addition of the Dark Warrior, I am afraid that the ultimate combat power will be reduced. It is the middle stage of 8-star fighting immortals. The army rests here. Remember to hide your breath. Zhan Yuan, the army is temporarily handed over to you. Tianyu Yaoshe, let's go. Let's go and see the situation here after the handover. Xiao Yan chose to set up camp in a rather low-lying basin, and then nodded slightly. Okay. Zhan Yuan and Tianyu agreed at the same time, and immediately retreated. Zhan Yuan, the strongest among the 9 great demon generals, who has the perfect strength of the 7-star fighting immortals, is not too bad, and can provoke a major role. Brother Xiao Yan, I think your move is a bit. Just after leaving the army, the 2 walked on a quiet path, surrounded by countless demonic and evil auras, which was quite dark. Tianyu looked at Xiao Yan suspiciously and said, "There is a good number of troops in front. I don't know if it is the elite of the evil-eyed Demon King. However, I remember that the overall strength of the evil-eyed Demon King is several times stronger than that of the myriad Demon Kingdom, so." Xiao Yan smiled, but there was a confidence in his smile that did not match his strength, as if he had what to rely on in general. With our strength alone, none of the 7 demons can't be defeated, because among the 7 Demon Kings, the number of demon beast armies starts with at least 100,000, and the Demon King's strength also ranges from the late 8-star fighting immortals to consummation. It's not like our 1,000 elites. Tianyu thought for a while, his snow-white tail swayed behind him, obviously shocked by Xiao Yan's understatement. Let's go meet this army. After that, Xiao Yan didn't care what the Heavenly Fox Demon Commander was. He moved his body and led him towards the distance. Gulu, this guy, being like this by Xiao Yan, Tianyu Yaoshe also felt a shock and madness in his heart. Is this Xiao Yan an arrogant and ignorant person or a thoughtful person? However, Tianyu Yaoshe was quite satisfied with Xiao Yan's resolute actions. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1896. In the Tianyuan battlefield, countless white bones and demonic winds filled the air, embellishing this barren land into a real purgatory on earth. Oh, it's so unlucky. The evil-eye Demon King is really partial, and he gave the most precious resources in the Tianyuan battlefield to his personal guards, the evil-eye demon group, and we, the generals and monster soldiers who worked hard with him and worked hard, ended up with a cup. I can't even share the soup. It's so embarrassing. At this time, in a flat area, several monster generals with tiger heads and tiger brains gathered in a group, quite complaining. Their expressions were extremely fierce, and the words revealed that they were endlessly interested in the so-called evil-eyed Demon King, of hatred. Lian Shuai, since the evil-eyed Demon King is so ruthless, why don't we? While speaking, a monster beast covered with green scales beside him made a light gesture towards his neck. The implication is clear. Obliterate the evil-eyed Demon King to replace him. No, the strength of the evil-eyed Demon King is in the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals, which is far from what we can deal with, and the evil eye of the evil-eyed Demon King can be said to be the most difficult among the 7 Demon Kings. Shuai heard the words, shook his head slowly, and immediately raised his deep demon eyes, looking deeper into the battlefield. Each of the 10 battlefields contains a lot of precious relics, and now that the evil-eyed Demon King has occupied the Tianyuan battlefield, he has vaguely discovered some tyrannical relics, so he expelled the 3 major demon commanders under him. Using the excuse of patrolling the border, they separated them, and the evil-eyed Demon King with his own personal guards was slowly exploring the precious ruins. The team in front of them now is the Scale Monster Group that ranks second among the 3 big monster groups. The most powerful one is led by the Scale Handsome in the early stage of the 8-star Fighting Immortals. There are 20,000 monster beasts behind them, and the army only has monster beasts. They are basically scale monsters, and it may be quite inferior to fight alone, but if it is a real group battle, the scene can be described as truly dumb. Tisk tisk. The army led by this monster is too many, right? At this time, Xiaoyan and Tianyu, with the help of Xiaoyan's huge soul power, stood on top of a depleted tree. Looking deeply at the huge camp with hundreds of tents in the distance, he lost his voice. Looking at this battle, I'm afraid there are as many as tens of thousands. How about it? Do you have the confidence to make a breakthrough? Xiaoyan muttered slightly, and then smiled slowly. His voice was full of extreme pride, and he had a strong sense of his own strength. Absolute confidence in general. Humph, why don't you dare? Master, do you have any plans? Just say it. Tianyu snorted coldly when he saw Xiaoyan's appearance, and his dazzling fighting intent was undoubtedly on display. When the 2 armies are fighting, intelligence is the most important. The 2 of us will go deep into the enemy's camp for a while. You are responsible for attracting firepower. I will try to collect the information on the evil-eyed Demon King. Remember not to fight. However, it can cause huge fluctuations, which is very good. Xiaoyan said, okay. Tianyu said with a slight smile. His gaze towards Xiaoyan also involuntarily became respectful. This guy is not only strong but also convincing. Do it. The 2 of them looked at each other, and then the power on their bodies soared like spring water. You attack from the front, I'll attack from the back. This feint attack is just to gain information. Leaving those words lightly, Xiaoyan's figure left here first, turning into a fierce wind, lurking towards the enemy's tent. Hoo hoo hoo! The figures of Xiaoyan and Tianyu were extremely strong, and just as the 2 auras appeared, a harsh roar filled the air from the enemy's camp. Enemy attack. There are enemies. The whole army is on the defensive. Enter the battle mode. Xiaoyan and Tianyu attacked one after the other, and the scaly demon Handsome suddenly jumped into the air and commanded the battle condescendingly. Return to Lin Shuai. There are only 2 attackers. One person started killing people on the front line, and there was a faint breath behind, which seemed to be heading towards the intelligence camp in our army. After a few breaths, a scout also came here, and the tone was quite strange. 2? But this guy doesn't seem to be so simple. 4 demon generals, you go and stop that 8-star Fighting Immortal powerhouse. I will meet that kid. Lin Shuai looked at the 2 people in tandem, and made a judgment in a short time. The strength of Tianyu Yaoshe half-step 8-star Fighting Immortal is certainly tyrannical, but the oppression given to him by Xiaoyan is even more tyrannical than the real 8-star Fighting Immortal. Lin Shuai, the attack from the front is a half-step 8-star Fighting Immortal powerhouse. If you don't take action, I am afraid that the front will cause a unilateral massacre. After hearing the words, several demon generals felt dark in their hearts, and did not understand why Lin Shuai would make this decision. Executing an order, you just need to be defensive. As soon as the voice fell, Lin Shuai burst out, facing the base camp behind him. Ha ha ha! Does the Demon King's army of demon beasts be able to handle this? There is no one who can fight. Let you guys come out, otherwise today, this commander will completely bloodbath this place. Tianyu Demon Commander killed hundreds of monsters one after another in just a few minutes, and suddenly arrogantly snorted. Road. Back to defense. Line up. Here. The army is called back. Defend. At this time, one after another demon generals emerged one after another, and then they commanded the army of demon beasts like a mess of sand in an orderly manner. For a time, it was difficult to control with the power of Tianyu Demon Commander create a crushing situation. Xiaoyan, I don't know what tricks you have, but you have to hurry up. After Tianyu Yaoshe muttered, he suddenly fought with these guys, but with the tacit understanding between each other, Tianyu Yaoshuai's strength will become stronger and stronger. Less and less dominant. On the other side, at the rear of the army, Xiao Yan quietly poured into the camp. This is the storage place for some confidential scrolls, and it is also Xiao Yan's destination. Under the power of the soul, it is naturally self-defeating. What is this? At this time, Xiao Yan released his soul power, defending the army of monsters and the powerhouses in the army, and quickly flipped through hundreds of scrolls with his palms, trying to find something useful. The Tomb of the Demon Emperor? Xiao Yan pulled out the scroll at the bottom of the pressed scroll, and an invisible oppression permeated out, and 4 demonic words flooded out. You're not too timid, you actually dare to break into our army base camp. Sign up and come. Just when Xiao Yan was surprised, just when he tried to open the scroll, an icy cold air was like smoke, surrounding the entire camp. That is the fluctuation of the field, and it is full of endless killing intent. Has it been discovered? But the purpose has been achieved. Xiao Yan took the scroll into his arms, and his eyes became deep. The majestic fighting spirit permeates out. This guy must be 8-star fighting immortals, can be said to be a real rival. However, for the leader of this level of monster army, the strength has reached the early stage of the 8-star Do Xian, and for Xiao Yan, it is also a great experience. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1897. Boy suffered to death. A cold snort, followed by a bone-chilling chill, swept the entire intelligence camp, and boundless bleak killing intent swept out, and immediately a human-shaped monster wrapped in green scales disappeared into Xiao Yan's sight. I'm afraid this guy's defensive power and combat power are terrifyingly strong. Looking at the black shadow of the monster that suddenly appeared in front of him, his fierce monster eyes were full of endless anger, and the green scales on his body were like sharp barb, releasing an extremely tyrannical demon. Wanhen prisoner pillar. Lin Shuai just appeared, and a milky white demonic energy condensed out of his body, and immediately spread out in this extremely cold field, without giving Xiao Yan any counterattack at all. It is such a terrifying offensive. I am afraid it is intended to be a quick decision. Boom! With a sound, countless white mists emerged in the field, and they were suffocating cold, and instantly turned into countless cold icicles, filling the entire field, and above these icicles, the tyrannical seal contained in it to suppress the aura also shocked Xiao Yan. Fire! Seeing such a terrifying scene when Lin Shuai made a move, Xiao Yan didn't dare to be careless. With a roar, the great heavenly seed of crimson flame emerged from his body. With the blessing of the fighting spirit, Xiao Yan was temporarily spared the erosion of these icy forces. Early stage of 7-star fighting immortals? What's going on? The moment Xiao Yan just made his move, Lin Shuai also smelled Xiao Yan's exact strength, and immediately asked with doubts in his demon eyes. Hey, I don't have time to play with you. The Sea of Crimson Flames. Immortal Fire Feather? Xiao Yan laughed softly. Countless fiery red great heavenly seed flames and gray feathers, the two intertwined and slanted away from Xiao Yan. Like a pure river that has fallen into the world from the 9 heavens, the monstrous weather contained in it makes Lin Shuai unable to help but feel a chill in his heart. Suppress this, commander. Looking at Xiao Yan's terrifying attack, it was clearly not equal to his strength, but Lin Shuai forcibly held back and said, Gulu, I won't play with you anymore. These things, I will accept them with a smile. At the end of the sentence, Xiao Yan's figure suddenly broke through the ice field very strangely, so he gently stood on the intelligence camp and smiled. This guy. At this moment, Lin Shuai's demon eyes couldn't help but become heavy. This guy who seemed to be only in the early stage of the 7-star fighting immortals was probably the most terrifying of the two. Want to run? The power of the cold pillar. Watching Xiao Yan prepare to escape, Lin Shuai released the power of milky white ice in his hands, trying to keep Xiao Yan here forever. Crack! It was just that when the milky asterisk just touched Xiao Yan's side, an amber flame appeared and enveloped Xiao Yan, completely shattering it and disintegrating it. This flame. Looking at Xiao Yan's means, Lin Shuai had no intention of continuing to shoot, but just stood there blankly, as if thinking about something. It's really troublesome. Xiao Yan dealt with Lin Shuai's attack, and just planned to escape. Looking at the TNU demon Shuai surrounded by tens of thousands of scaled demons in the distant sky, he muttered, his body turned into a flaming meteor, and he burst into it. Go! This guy, that's all. Maybe this can cause some obstacles to the evil-eyed Demon King. Looking at Xiao Yan's leaving figure, Lian Shuai also laughed. Otherwise, with his strength, if he really wanted to keep Xiao Yan, it was not impossible. But at that time, I'm afraid it is a real life and death battle. The Nameless, hurry up and capture. Otherwise, I will let you die here forever. In the sky, the 5 demon generals shone with extremely dazzling demonic energy, and immediately their auras and tens of thousands of scaled demons were slowly intertwined, forming a terrifying effect on each other. Strength. Let Tianyu Yaoshe retreat. As expected of a well-trained monster beast legion, I don't know how Master Xiao Yan is doing. Tianyu Monster Commander wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and immediately his breath was shaking, and the terrifying attack was directly in front of him. The enemy attacked away. Boom! These scale monsters united to form a square lineup of integrated attack and defense, which made the Tianyu monster helpless. It felt like their own attacks would be easily resolved by them, and their attacks, he had no choice but to bite the bullet, but as time went on, the scars on Tianyu Yaoshe became more and more obvious. On the other hand, the power of these scale monsters became more and more terrifying. Are you all right? After resting, Xiao Yan's body appeared beside Tianyu Yaoshe. Looking at Tianyu Yaoshe with a weak breath, he asked with concern. Lord Xiao Yan, hurry up, the combined power of these guys is too weird. Seeing Xiao Yan appearing, the demon commander Tianyu hurriedly shouted. He was just a rough man, and it was fine for him to obey orders to fight. But if it was about ordering, that would be his weakness, and now that he had Xiao Yan, who was smart and brave, he was willing to obey. The information has been obtained, let's go together. Xiao Yan did not hesitate and smiled slowly. But Tianyu Yaoshe wanted to say something, but he looked at Xiao Yan's body, the traces of hot flames, from dim to dazzling, from dull to divine. That feeling is like a dazzling star falling into the mortal world. At this moment, the boundless vast power is renewing its true luster. Bloom! With a cold snort, a pale yellow delicate lotus seed slowly appeared in Xiao Yan's hands, and immediately attacked the copper wall and iron wall formed by tens of thousands of scale monsters. In order not to expose all his means, Xiao Yan did not use the 4-color Buddha's Wrath Samsara, but used the Immortal Flame as a guide, and the condensed fire lotus, with the power of the Immortal Flame and Xiao Yan's soul power, is also enough to defeat the Scale Demon's combined power. Boom! With a sound, the power of immortality erupted, and the lotus seeds erupted completely, and the waves of incomparably hot waves spread like a beam of destruction, and the shocking and terrifying energy contained in them made all the demon generals look on their faces. Big change. Not good. Go back. Seeing Xiao Yan's sudden appearance with such a bizarre attack, several demon generals shrank their pupils and lost their voices. Boom! Unfortunately, it took time to convey the order. When it arrived, the huge square formed by the tens of thousands of scale monsters in front of him was directly hit by Xiao Yan's 1-colored fire lotus and soul power. 20,000 scale monsters, more than 1/5 of the casualties. Wanhen territory. Search for me. Be sure to find these 2 ** beasts. Thousands of knives are slashed. In an instant, Lin Shuai shot in time, and the extremely dazzling cold power permeated, and just then he slowly resisted the spread of Xiao Yan's fire lotus, otherwise the losses would continue to increase. With the appearance of this scene, the entire Tianyuan battlefield shook violently. It seemed that several other places were also aware of such strong energy ripples. However, Xiao Yan and the 2 brought information and thanked their troops for joining together. Having the first experience of fighting against the army of the Demon King of Evil Eyes will be of great benefit to Xiao Yan and the others in their future battles. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1898. In the Tianyuan battlefield, Xiao Yan's elite base camp of thousands of monsters. The smell of gunpowder in the battlefield is getting stronger and stronger, and the 2 lords have not returned. This is not the way to go. In the tent, Zhan Yuan sat in the first place and spoke slightly. Xiao Yan put 1,000 the elites of the monster beast army were handed over to him. Although there is no abnormality under his own constraints, but in the Tianyuan battlefield, there are many corpses of monsters everywhere, some of which contain some kind of tyrannical blood essence. At this time, this 1,000 elites are also now just around the corner. The blood of demon beasts is something that is of great benefit to demon beasts in general, like demon pills. Whether it is an increase in their own bloodline or strength, it is comparable to magic pills. If they can get it by chance, the team itself has a lot of blood. Unique advantages, so this is also the reason why these elites are just around the corner. At this time, in the tent, 9 wolves will stand here one after another, and they are all condensed. Some of them even complained about Xiao Yan, but it was because of the order of the Demon King before leaving. This time everything is right or wrong. Xiao Yan headed by Yan Yaoshe, it is not easy to attack. Boom! At this moment, above the turbid sky in the distance, an unusually harsh explosion sounded out, and the scorching aura contained in it was somewhat similar to the aura of the demon handsome Xiao Yan in the past. What's going on? Zhan Yuan heard the words, hurriedly left the tent and came to the open space, staring at the terrifying flame storm, and muttered. That breath, it seems to be a bit like Xiao Yan, Yaoshe-sama. But there, according to the information of the scouts, it is the location of the Scale Demon Army among the 3 major legions of the Evil Eye Demon King. For a while, the demon generals also had different opinions. On the other side, Xiao Yan and the 2 escaped the siege of the Scale Demon Army, and they wandered around for a long time before they quietly returned to their base camp. Give me. This is what Lao Su discovered first. What kind of thing are you? The monsters seemed to be digging the ground in a rather obscure way, and below, a forest of white bones emerged from the barren land, and even a drop of rather weak blood on the white bones. Strong and powerful beating, as if with some special magic. What's going on? Xiao Yan asked after Xiao Yan and Tianyu Yaoshe quietly stood a few monster soldiers fighting for blood essence. This is the blood of monster beasts. It should be left behind after the battle between the army of the monster world and the powerhouses of the extraterrestrial evil race. The blood of monster beasts can greatly improve the power and blood of monsters, as well as many aspects of physical strength, so they are used by them. It's reasonable to fight like this. Tianyu Yaoshe shook his head helplessly. Obviously what Xiao Yan said before leaving was extremely sensible. Stop for me. Xiao Yan slowly shook his head after listening to Tianyu Yaoshui's explanation, then walked up to the few monster soldiers in front of him and snorted coldly. What Xiao Yan feared the most happened. Xiao, Master Yaoshe. Several monsters were already covered with scars, but when they saw Xiao Yan appearing, they could only stand upright, and the white bones in the soil below could only give up. How did I tell the military order before I left? Xiao Yan's eyes were gloomy, and he looked at the monster soldiers coldly. A trace of anger permeated. You must not use any bone or object on the battlefield without authorization. Several monsters were dumbfounded and lowered their heads. Knowingly committed? What do you think you should be guilty of? Xiao Yan continued. According to the military order, behead. But since you don't know it, I will forgive you this time. As for the so-called monster blood essence, it's just a mass of evil energy. If you swallow it without authorization, I'm afraid it will swallow you into bones in no time. As Xiao Yan spoke, the dazzling fiery red energy swept out from his body. Gently wrapped around the drop of crystal silver antimony penetrating blood essence above the white bones below. Boom! Wrapped in Xiao Yan's pure flame, the blood above the bones burst out with a monstrous evil aura. That kind of power is far beyond what these monster soldiers can resist. Peefed. In the end, there was a sudden explosion, which turned into a monstrous rain of blood, filling the air. Master Yaoshe Shengming, seeing Xiao Yan destroying this demonic beast's blood and essence in just a few words, the few demonic beast soldiers also said in despair. If Xiao Yan hadn't stopped it in time, I'm afraid they. By the way, sir, now it's not just us, there are many in the team. After Shunshi, several monsters also decided to change their past and repented. Go ahead and gather the army. I have something important to announce. Xiao Yan nodded lightly when he heard the words, and said immediately. Okay. When the other monsters heard the words, they dispersed to notify the monsters to gather. Sir, what are you? Tianyu Yaoshe was also confused for a while and asked. When I went to the Scale Demon Army to spy on information, I found some useful information. I'll communicate it myself in a while. Aren't these monster beast elites trying to get monster blood to enhance their power? I happen to have this intention too, but I just don't know if they have the courage. After speaking, They also left facing the 9 demon generals in the tent. What happened? Gather? Xiao Yan's demon handsome is back? At this moment, the monster army, which was about to move, became restless because of Xiao Yan's return. A few minutes later, 1,000 elite monsters were assembled. Everyone, Xiao Yan and Tianyu, stood in front of the 1,000 monsters and said plausibly, their voices filled with a sense of relief. Everyone, we entered the Tianyuan mountains to resist the evil-eyed Demon King. I know that there are a lot of monsters in this battlefield that are very attractive to us, but the monsters and blood on these lands have already been corroded by the evil forces of foreign evil tribes. Xiao Yan said a word. Said, corrosion? How can it be? Quote. Actually, it was corrupted by the evil race from outside the territory. I just said how it can't be refined after absorbing it. Xiao Yan's voice just fell, and the team suddenly exploded. Defeat the evil-eyed Demon King is the best way for us to prove ourselves, but now with our strength, we still don't have the strength to compete head-on. So there is an imminent need to increase the power. This time I went out to investigate information. I was lucky enough to get a relic in the battlefield. There are many treasure relics in it, but this relic is now eroded by the Evil Eye Demon group of the Evil Eye Demon King's guards. I don't know if you have that. You have the courage to fight with me. Xiao Yan's voice contained a hint of inquiry, and slowly emerged. Battlefield ruins? Thousands of elites couldn't help but their eyes brightened when they heard it. If the blood of the monsters on the battlefield is corroded by evil forces and cannot be absorbed, then the battlefield ruins are the place where many treasures are completely preserved. That kind of place is a real treasure for monsters. I don't know what the ruins are. Where are you? After a while, many inquiries came from among the elite monsters. The tomb of the Demon Emperor. As for the location, it's in the depths of this battlefield. Xiao Yan said softly, but there was a calm air in his voice, as if the winning ticket was in hand. Opening parenthesis, closing parenthesis. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website, mobile version reading website. Continuing from the previous episode 1899. Demon Emperor's tomb? Xiao Yan's voice just fell. Thousands of elites behind him. 9 demon generals including Tianyu Yaoshe. At this time the demon eyes slowly shrank, and he said in horror. Demon Emperor. This is the real powerhouse in the demon world. The former master of the demon world, the Demon Emperor Tianhen, in addition to this, are the 3 powerful men under him, the Black Evil Dragon Wolf, the Tianshang Tyrant, and the White Bone Evil King. And this so-called Demon Emperor, the strength may only be in the early stage of the 8-star fighting immortal, and it is not comparable to the 3 powerhouses, but this guy likes to collect many treasures in the demon world, just like a collector. In addition, he is still a guy with great fighting power. There have been rumors that this guy used to be loyal to the Demon Emperor. With his strength in the early stage of the 8-star fighting immortals, he could deal with a White King among the foreign evil races without falling behind. This is also the only thing that helped the Demon Emperor resist the foreign evil races, the hero, although he finally fell on the Red King, but also because of his illustrious military exploits, he built his posthumous palace in the ancient battlefield. For circulation, it's actually the tomb of the Demon Emperor? After Shun breathed, the eyes of many demon beasts were filled with uncontrollable fury. The word Demon Emperor can be said to be a symbol of great glory and strength. If they can entering it, the strength will naturally be greatly improved. Although there are many opportunities for treasures in the tomb of the Demon Emperor, the danger should not be underestimated. In addition to the existence of the evil-eyed demon group. But I'm not afraid of everyone's jokes, the evil-eyed Demon King. Don't take it seriously. I don't know what happened to everyone. Xiao Yan said softly, with a rare smile in his voice. Today's Xiao Yan is not just talking vernacular. After all, the midterm power of the evil-eyed, demon, and 8-star fighting immortals cannot pose a real fatal threat to Xiao Yan today. Wait, I am willing to swear to the death to pursue Lord Xiao Yan, Yaoshe. Xiao Yan's voice just fell, and a group of monsters spoke in unison, with a mighty force, like a thunder that was enough to shatter the 9 heavens. If that's the case, let's go. I will distribute the notes on the way. If there is someone who disobeys the order, kill without mercy. Hearing such a sonorous and powerful voice, Xiao Yan responded with the same high-pitched voice. Let's go. For a time, this team was also united by General Xiao Yan's heart, and with the information Xiao Yan had stolen from the Scale Demon Army, they cleverly avoided many dangerous places along the way, and made the fastest way. The speed went towards the tomb of the Demon Emperor. In the Tianyuan battlefield, deep. This is a rather turbid sky. There are countless dark auras in the sky, like the magic marks that erode all things, sweeping the whole world, and the land below is also full of boundless darkness. That kind of darkness seems to it is the erosion of evil power from countless years, which is extremely deep. At this time, on a rock, a human man stood quietly here. He was quite tame, like a gentle and elegant scholar, but his eyes were extremely strange, as if they contained all things, shocking people. It is unbearable to look at. Lord Monster King, the evil-eyed monster group has found the entrance to the tomb. After a while, a human-like monster with rabbit ears on its head flashed like a ghost. Well, let's go. Let's meet the so-called Demon Emperor's tomb. The Evil Eye King's eyes were calm, but he was full of a smile. There are some problems at the entrance, and my lord, the demon commanders of the other 3 legions seem to have a lot of complaints about your actions. Let us devour the tomb of the Demon Emperor alone, aren't we? The rabbit-eared general asked in a low voice. Yes, there is a trace of worry. After all, the power of the 3 major legions is the indispensable power of the evil-eyed Demon King. Don't worry, this Demon Emperor's tomb is just a bluff. I hope to catch a big fish. After the Evil Eye King finished speaking, his body shook, the void in front of him shattered and opened, and he suddenly walked towards the Demon Emperor's tomb. The power that emerges from the body must be the 8-star fighting immortal. For a day, Xiao Yan and the others hurried non-stop, but to Xiao Yan's surprise, they did not encounter any emergencies along the way, and even nearly found out with the 3 major armies of the evil-eyed Demon King several times. As a result, the battle was broken, and it seemed to be ignored by him, as if the 3 major legions were planning something. Therefore, the team ruled by Xiao Yan reached the depths of the Tianyuan battlefield quite smoothly, which made Xiao Yan always have an illusion in his heart. Isn't it going too well? And the Scale Commander of the Scale Demon Legion was only trying to test me. I hope I think too much. Xiao Yan murmured as soon as he came to the depths, and tightly clasped the darkness with his palm. The imprint of the underworld priest, if the matter is really beyond his control, I am afraid that he can only do his best. Although Xiao Yan does not want to use the power of the dark underworld priest, or even the devil. In the depths of the Tianyuan battlefield, the turbid air here is like a thick liquid that makes people disgusted, and even countless corpses and some broken weapons set off the word battlefield vividly. Sir, there are traces of the evil-eyed demon group here. Tianyu Yaoshe carefully observed the surrounding soil, and slowly saw traces of twisted traces, and there was a trace of the exclusive evil-eyed demon group on it. The evil-eyed monster group is said to be a group of special monsters who practice eye skills. There are about 1,000 of them. They are all in the same form, and their combat power may not be outstanding. I am afraid it is enough to be the most terrifying power under the command of the 7 demon kings. The entrance to the tomb of the Demon Emperor should be here. It seems that they have already taken the lead. Xiao Yan came to a barren land and looked at the purple prohibition incantations around the ground and a touch of about tens of meters. In the size of the cave, the palm of the hand lightly sticks a trace of purple soil. After confirming that it is correct, he directly swept the dirty soil away. Immediately, a strange purple cave appeared in the mud beneath everyone's feet. In the purple cave, there is a monstrous demon aura that is extremely domineering. This power completely isolates the surrounding evil power. I am afraid this is the power of the Demon Emperor. Send half of the force to stay here, and the other strong people will enter with me. It's all voluntary. We will bring back the blood essence from the ruins. Compared with fighting, guarding is also a task that should not be underestimated. Xiao Yan said in the mouth. I'll keep it. Before Xiao Yan finished speaking, more than half of the powerhouses said. Xuanyuan, you take them to guard here. This is a trace of space formation. If the situation changes, it can shrink for a period of time. Xiao Yan said contentedly, and after breathing well, he engraved a trace of the space shuttle handprint on the scroll and gave it to Xuanyuan. My subordinates take orders. Zhan Yuan took the space scroll and nodded. He naturally understood Xiao Yan's concerns. Let's go. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he led the remaining 500 people into the purple cave and poured into it. At this moment, the tomb of the Demon King was also completely opened. Of course, at the same time, the 3 legions of the Demon King of Evil Eyes, whether intentionally or unintentionally, slowly approached here. If it was unintentional, it would be fine, just wandering aimlessly, but if it had been planned long ago, I am afraid that the 500 people led by Zhan Yuan would not be able to resist them. Please remember this book's first domain name. Tang San Chinese website mobile version reading website.